Hello and welcome to our Nigerian viewers and viewers around the world. This is Galaxy TV News. Let's get things started. A total of 266 escapees from the Medium Security Custodial Center in Oyo State have been recaptured, leaving 575 still at large. Plus, Delta Council attributes market demolition to communal crisis. Outside Nigeria, Turkey moves to throw out U.S., France, and 8 other envoys. And in sports, Mason Mount scores hat-trick as Premier League leaders Chelsea thrash bottom club Norwich at Stamford Bridge. Those are our top stories. We have details now. And now, wherever you're watching from around the world, we are live from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. On our first story, about 266 inmates of the Abolongo Medium Custodial Center who escaped Friday night have been brought back to the facility by officials of the center with the support of other security agencies, while 575 others are still at large. Now, 3 persons lost their lives when gunmen invaded the area with sophisticated weapons. Our correspondent, Kunle Ojo, tells us more.
This is Abolongo Correctional Facility in Oyo Town, which was attacked yesterday by suspected gunmen. There were reports of casualties, but as at the time of this report, officers at the center are taking inventory of what transpired yesterday. Suspected gunmen on motorcycles and with dangerous weapons attacked the custodial center located at Abolongo in Oyo Town around 10 p.m. on Friday. In the course of the attack, some of the inmates escaped from the facility, while one of the inmates lost his life. Officers at the center, with support of other security agencies, swung into action early in the morning and have so far brought back about 266 inmates who had escaped. It was gathered that the gunmen on arrival at the area disarmed officers at the observatory tower and blew up the iron door with dynamite before they gained entrance into the cell where they freed some inmates. In the course of the attack, security men who attempted to repel them were attacked, during which one Amotekun operative and one of the inmates lost their lives. Also, an officer attached to the Oyo State security outfit known as Operation Bust was said to have been seriously injured. Controller, Nigerian Correctional Service, Oyo State Command, Ilowen Noel, confirmed the attack.
It was last night at about 10:05 that I got information from the officer in charge that the correctional center here in Abolongo was attacked by unknown gunmen. They came in a large number and there was sporadic shooting. And they had explosives. And they attacked the correctional center and inmates in custody. Some inmates are in custody.
He disclosed that some of the suspects connected with high-profile cases in the state, like Iskilu Wakili, among others, are still in detention.
Well, there was casualty. One of the inmates that wanted to jump fence, I think he fell down and lost his life. High profile. The only high profile that we have in custody is still there, still in custody.
The name, please, sir?
I don't have that name now.
Well,
the only one that I know is a high profile is not still in custody.
Okay.
He added that 266 escapees have been recaptured, while 575 inmates are still at large. Security has since been beefed up in the area to forestall further breakdown of law and order. Since the incident happened yesterday, officers at the facility have moved to town and they've been able to arrest some of the fleeing inmates. From Abolongo in Oyo Town, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
In the meantime, the federal government has condemned the attacks at the correctional service in Oyo State by suspected gunmen. Minister of Interior Ralph Aregbesola, in a statement by his media advisor, described the incident as unfortunate, especially at this period. The minister said the government is monitoring the situation with an assurance of residents of the area and the people of Oyo State to go about their lawful activities. He enjoined members of the public to report any suspicious movement or any sign of the escaped inmate and the gunmen in around the vicinity to the nearest security post around them. Now, the burden of drug abuse is becoming a public health concern in Nigeria. Preventive measures should include identifying the root causes of the burden for targeted intervention. Galaxy's Tife Tanimomo in this report conducts a review on drug abuse and provisions of drug laws in Nigeria. The report.
Before we even talk about content in any drug that will predispose anyone to drug abuse, one needs to talk about the fact that drugs in itself are not what we call articles of trade. In other words, drugs are not articles you go for just because you have an urge for them. Drugs are actually items that you are given only when required.
According to the 2018 UNODC report, 1 in 7 persons aged 15 to 64 years had abused drugs in the past year. Also, 1 in 5 individuals who had used drug in the past year is suffering from drug-related disorders. Drug abuse has been a cause of many criminal offenses such as theft, burglary, sex work, and shoplifting. With the high poverty rate of about 50% people living in extreme poverty in Nigeria and the rising rate of unemployment at 23.1%, these socioeconomic challenging conditions could predispose people to engage in drug abuse, to work harder, earn a living, or to work and ward off the stress and frustration of a daily living in hardship.
Do you think it's easy for a man to break into a house and start raping the wife and the children? No, it's because they are on drug. Drug is a major reason why you see a lot of young men are getting involved in things they are not supposed to do.
The moment you overtake that dose, what the signal is sent to you is not a normal signal. And no nation can ever survive or live well with people who live in drug.
Interventions to block the supply of these drugs from identified sources could reduce the increasing prevalence of drug abuse.
The drug distribution channels in this country can be described as chaotic. Any person, anybody, can walk up to what we call the open market and get drugs. As a matter of fact, we see people in the night, in the dead of night, hawking drugs. Both hard and, if possible, use the term soft drugs. Hawking them. So, one of the best ways is to streamline the distribution. Have a proper, a well-regulated drug distribution channel.
Lagos-based psychologist says drug abuse can also be attributed to excessive exposure of the younger age group to internet usage.
Before, when we had ideal environments, people rarely went into drug abuse. But these days, it's the in thing. What I mean that is the in thing is that the environment is very, very harsh. The environment is not friendly. The exposure to internet has brought us to many undesirable behaviors. What do I mean by that? before, when people were using, I'm not saying that we should go back to black and white. You say, you just think now and say, oh, it's only one person who has TV, no should. Then, before you can get there. But now, you carry it in the hand. These children, they view it. They see the tramadol, they see codeine, they see Indian hemp. They want to try it out. Unlike before, when you hear it, you heard it, you say, how does it look like? You just be hearing it. You read it in the book. The environment, the society is no longer friendly. So people now get hold to drug. And that's why we have people now abusing it.
Now, short-term effects of drug abuse can range from changes in appetite, wakefulness, heart rate, blood pressure, or heart attack, stroke, psychosis, overdose, and even death. These health effects may occur after just one use. Longer-term effects can include heart or lung disease, cancer, mental illness, HIV/AIDS, hepatitis, and others. The chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Bubamara retired, is proposing the amendment of the NDLEA Act to specify the penalty for drug offenders in the country. Take a look.
The jail sentences we're looking at is a minimum of 15, maximum of 25, and life. Those are all in the NDLEA Act that is under revision at National Assembly.
My question will be that will this approach take care of the worries and concerns of drug abusers in Nigeria? My name is Tife Tanimomo here in Lagos for Galaxy Television News.
In the meantime, the ongoing market demolition exercise in the Delta community of Uheli South local government area has been attributed to loss of lives, which has led to communal crisis between two communities claiming ownership of the market.
Because so many lives are lost from that crisis. There is this tussle between Ekibo community and Igweko community claiming the ownership of the place. On our own, as a government, we've called the attention of the monarch, the king of Uheli, to address the issue. The king also said the market is being owned by Uheli.
We don't get nowhere to go. I don't got problem.
You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. The federal government has linked Sunday Igboho to terrorism financing. That story is just ahead. Please stay with us. Good to have you back. This is Galaxy TV News. Now, for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Galaxy TV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. If you have breaking news around you, you can avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. Simply share a story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818 666 6669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your life update and comment. Now, pro-Yoruba agitator Sunday Adeyemo, commonly known as Sunday Igboho, is engaged in terrorism financing. The Nigerian government has claimed. Nigeria's Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami told the media in Abuja Friday that Adeyemo has made financial transactions with suspected terrorism financiers currently under investigation. Galaxy's Godfrey Shomoge tells us more.
The Nigerian government recently confirmed that it was investigating some alleged terrorism sponsors. Linking Sunday Adeyemo to terrorism financing is the latest twist to the matter. Abubakar Malami said Adeyemo allegedly transferred funds to Abbal Bako and Sons and its promoter Abdullahi Umar Usman, suspects in the ongoing joint terrorist financing investigation.
A total of 273,198,200 transaction outflows was recorded from Sunday Igboho's account between 15th March 2013 and 11th day of March 2021. Investigations revealed that Adeshun International Concept Limited, belonging to Igboho, transferred the sum of 12,750,000 to Abbal Bako and Sons. It might be recalled that Abbal Bako and Sons and its promoter Abdullahi Umar Usman are suspects in the ongoing joint terrorism financing investigation.
The Justice Minister said leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, at some point masterminded the NSAS protests and the attacks on security operatives.
On 21st October 2020, Nnamdi Kanu, through an online call-in radio program, Radio Biafra, further instigated IFOP members to burn down all police stations and kill government security forces, which was carried out, and several security personnel, especially police officers, were killed and public and private properties destroyed. 175 security personnel were in consequence killed by IFOP ESN, comprising 128 policemen, 37 military personnel, and 10 other security operatives across the country. 4. Killing of prominent Nigerians. Recently, there were gruesome killings of traditional rulers, OP1 of Okodo Autonomous Community, Eze and Yacho and Anayochukwu, Dure Buro and Eze Samson Osumwa of Ihebi Nyore Autonomous Community, as well as the killing of Alhaji Ahmed Golak on 30th May 2021.
On the controversial restriction of access to the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, Mr. Malami told the media that the court has powers to do so.
Who attends and whether the court indeed has powers to restrict access is a function of law. In that respect, I will refer you to the relevant legislations operational in Nigeria on terrorism. And then secondly, within the context of the prevailing legislations, the court reserves the right to restrict access. And if indeed, which in fact is the case, the court has restricted access, I urge you to consider the possibility of seeking clarifications from the court.
The Attorney General maintained repeatedly that the action of the government in all that has been playing out so far is in the public's interest. Godfrey Eshemoge, Galaxy News, Abuja.
I will take your questions first.
Now, a renowned monarch in the southeastern parts of Nigeria, Ezoliver, in Isiala Mbano local government area of Imo State, has described the continuous detention of Nnamdi Kanu as the major reason fueling the massive destruction of lives and properties in the zone. Galaxy's Daily Faso further this report.
The monarch posited that there are better ways to handle the issue of agitation other than keeping their son Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, in detention continuously. The king called on the agitating youth of the zone to sheath their sword and allow the leaders, especially the traditional rulers, engage federal government meaningfully on the matter. Also speaking on the development, the youth president of Southeast Youth Forum, Comrade Ifeanyi, urged leaders in the zone to sit up and solve the problem before it gets out of hand.
The government of Nigeria to release Nnamdi Kanu to us, the fathers. He's our son. We cannot deny him. Let them release him to us. Let him appear in court and then granted bail like he had done before. And this time, because of the trend of events, we'll take another challenges and know how we handle the matter.
Whatever that is happening, whether unknown government or the banditry that is happening, I don't think it's connected to anything concerning agitation of Biafra, agitation of Southeast Zone. These are hoodlums. These are people are being seen and viewed as politically motivated. So whoever that is behind all this should be arrested.
In the meantime, the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, has called for a review of the criminal justice system in Nigeria in order to ensure decongestion of prisons. Correspondent Kunojo sent this report.
The chairman of the body in Oyo State, Yemisi Collins, made the appeal for a review of the criminal justice system during a visit to Agodi Correctional Center in Ibadan. She also expressed concern on the increasing number of inmates, especially women who are on awaiting trial lists. The female lawyer stated that the slow pace of criminal justice system has contributed in no small measure to prison congestion as well as exposed inmates to serious danger.
Criminal justice system, to a great extent, we know it could be very slow. It could be very slow. However, that is why what we are doing is also to help the criminal justice system. And we believe that by the special grace of God, you know, the fact that our prisons are clogged and the prisons are congested, this is just to help the congest of prison. We believe that with time, you know, we will get there in decongesting our prison and getting relief for some of the inmates that are in there.
She maintained that though the body has no power to release inmates, but that the visit to the correctional center has been revealing. The chairman of FIDA in the state promised to report back to the Chief Judge of Oyo State and present all findings for necessary actions.
And here, why we are here is to see to the welfare of the female inmates and also ensure some of them probably that are on a waiting trial list for a long time. We see what we can do as female lawyers to lessen their burden. Because the release is we don't have that power to release.
Now, the Edo Civil Society Organization says Governor Godwin Obaseki's recent request for funds from the federal government for a national livestock transformation program was a betrayal of the Edo people's position. Our correspondent, Dele Faso, sent this report.
The Edo Civil Society organizations, in a press conference held in Benin City, the Edo State capital, gave the governor a 2-week ultimatum to rescind his decision and obey the resolution he and other southern governors reached at the town hall meeting. Representing the Christian community, a clergy and other rights activists noted that traditional rulers and the church in the state have all made it clear to the governor that the state has no land for open grazing, while calling on the governor to, as a matter of urgency, transmit a bill on anti-open grazing to the State House of Assembly.
September, that they will not sign this bill into law in all the states of the southern Nigeria. That we are giving him to the second week of November to transmit this bill to the House of Assembly so that they can call for public input and pass it into law in Edo State.
So we are standing as one. We don't want Ruga in Edo State. We don't have lands for headers. Because we know their antecedents. We know what they can do, what they are capable of. What we are saying is, if ranching, if red cattle is a private business, the same way having a port is a private business, let them go source for funds to take up themselves. We don't want all food raising.
All the 18 local government area of Edo State. That is only a bit that is possible with the political party. But today, Edo Civil Society Organization have been able to prove that we can also have structures in every nook and cranny in Edo State. Is that not something that...
Now, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has organized a 3-day training program for extension officers in Ogun State on the need to update their knowledge base through various exposures to global best practices and modern tools to enable them deliver on their job effectively. The exercise, which took place concurrently across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja is the second phase, which is targeted at capacity building of 40 extension officers. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Muhammad Abubakar, said the Muhammadu Buhari government is keen on the revitalization of the agricultural extension services in Nigeria. Abubakar, represented by the State Director in the ministry, Engineer Ganiyu Oseni, assured participants that the training would enhance their knowledge of service delivery to farmers in terms of production practices and equipment for technical support, urging them to take it seriously as it seeks to ensure food security and augment foreign earnings for the nation at large. On his part, the Commissioner for Agriculture in Ogun State, Dr. Adiola Odedino, noted that the emphasis on training of extension agents is apt as it offers free advisory services to young farmers and investors, describing it as a mandate of government that should be achieved to set agricultural development agenda in motion.
The issue of extension services cannot be overruled when the issue of food production, job creation, and wealth generation is coming to be into play. And I will charge them, they have received a lot from the resource person. And the only means by which we can appreciate the essence of coming together is seeing all these information being disseminated to the farmers.
As you are aware, we have the largest number of extension agents by local government in this country. I think we have minimum of 5 extension agents per local government. And according to the roadmap approved by His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, everyone in Ogun State that have registered for one project or the other, either from private sector, young people, this and that, must receive free extension support from the government of Ogun State.
The committee that is saddled with the task of ensuring proper coordination of the disposal of assets forfeited to the federal government has carried out open balloting for the allocation of assets to the valuers. The chairman of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on the Disposal of Assets forfeited to the federal government and Solicitors General of the Federation, Umar Mohammed, said a thorough selection process was done in line with international best practices.
Of the committee, as approved by Mr. President, was for 6 months, which was graciously extended for another 6 months, bearing in mind the process of collation of data, tagging, and on-site verification of the forfeited assets.
Secretary of the Inter-Ministerial Committee for the Disposal of Federal Government's Forfeited Assets, Ladidi Mohammed, said the committee did due diligence at all levels to ensure that all eligible participants were given equal opportunity through the ballot system.
The due process conducted by this IMC, honestly speaking, is uncontestable, because in addition to the desk work that was done, further due diligence was conducted by this IMC by reaching out to all the statutory bodies that are supposed to give you clearances to do business in Nigeria, as well as the professional body concerned.
The qualified valuers are from Lot 1 to 4 with total number of 613 bidders bidding for assets like developed landed properties, plants, water vessels, and jewelry, clothing materials. Now, a group under the aegis of Money Points has announced plans to expand financial inclusion drive to more markets in the country. The group made the disclosure and submission on the sideline of an opening event. Now, speaking of the challenges facing startups, speakers revealed that Nigeria has made it difficult to build and sustain businesses in the country, charging the government at all levels to do more to improve Nigeria's economy.
It will reduce unemployment to a certain extent, no matter how small it is. The government needs to encourage them so that we have more outlets, so that the stress of going to the bank will be highly reduced.
To do in Nigeria today is to ensure that we contribute to the global GDP, the global economy, right, of what is actually happening. And today you will agree with me that largely transactions that happen typically happens offline, right? Meaning that people are unable to actually get insight as to what is typically happening, right? You can argue and say Nigeria is worth a certain amount, right? Mainly looking at the online transactions. But when you come to the offline space, you typically realize that there are much more activities that are actually going on there. So this typically allows us to be able to, dig deep into understanding the economic activity of people within different localities and different areas. So the entire goal is to create financial inclusion.
What has influenced the fintech industry in a lot of ways. Cater for the unbanked in every area.
Now to security stories. 3 men, namely Sunday Arebede, Salisu, Mahmoud and Razak, were on Wednesday arrested by operatives of Ogun State Police Command while exhuming the corpse of one Shegun Taiwo, who died and was buried about 6 months ago at the Abule Sikuru area of Sabo, Abeokuta. The suspects were arrested following a distress call received from one Felix Obe, who informed the police at Ilupeju Divisional Headquarters that he sighted some men digging the grave where a 28-year-old man was buried. The PPRO of Ogun State, Abimbola Yemi, in a press release on Friday, said upon the information, the DPO Ilupeju Division, SP Mustafa, quickly led his men to the scene where the 3 suspects were apprehended with already exhumed corpses with the help of members of the community. Preliminary investigations revealed that the suspect exhumed the corpse in order to use part of it for money-making ritual. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police in that state, Larry Bankole, has ordered the immediate transfer of the case to the State Criminal Investigations and Intelligence Departments for discreet investigation with a view to charging them to court as soon as possible. Now, the Managing Director, Delta State Oil Producing Areas Development Commission, the SOPADEC, Askia Ogay, says restructuring of the commission has continued to yield the desired results in achieving the aims and objectives of the interventionist agency. Ogay said the commission has put an end to the problem of ghost workers.
On assumption of office 2 years ago, the board adopted the bottom-up model where communities in our mandate areas decide which projects they need, discarding the era of imposition of projects which has been the norm. We came on board with some low-hanging fruits and long-term projects, including the tangibles and intangibles. We have been delivering faithfully to our mandate areas. Prior to the restructuring of the Commission in 2015, staff in their usual laissez-faire attitude were being governed by their own whims and caprices.
He stressed that the Commission achieved a remarkable feat in oil-producing communities despite the COVID-19 pandemic.
Made remarkable feats in the service delivery mandate to our oil-producing communities in the state, particularly when viewed against the backdrop of the unpredictable challenges that literally confronted us in the whole of the year 2020 and counting. by way of the global COVID-19 pandemic with its crunch economic effect, among others.
You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. Sports news is next.
Welcome to Sports News. Mason Mount scored a hat-trick as Premier League leaders Chelsea trashed bottom club Norwich at Stamford Bridge 7-0. Thomas Tuchel's side were 2-0 ahead inside 18 minutes as Mount and Callum Hudson-Odoi scored their first goals of the season, with Mount turning provider to set up Reece James for a third goal before half-time. Fellow defender Ben Chilwell scored for the fourth consecutive game to extend Chelsea's lead shortly after the restart, before Max Aaron's own goal and Mount's late double wrapped up the win. Canaries defender Ben Gibson was sent off for 2 yellow cards to cap a miserable afternoon for the away side, who remain rooted to the bottom of the table and without a win this season. With Lukaku and Werner ruled out with injuries suffered against Malmo in midweek, Tuchel played Kai Havertz as a false nine with Mount and Hudson-Odoi either side, and together they formed a mobile front three that regularly outmaneuvered a labouring Norwich defence. Victory means Chelsea will stay top for another week after emphatically extending their lead over second-placed Liverpool to 4 points ahead of Jurgen Klopp's side's supersonic clash with Manchester United. Emmanuel Dennis grabbed 2 assists before wrapping up Watford's 5-2 victory over Everton with a goal on Saturday. The Super Eagles forward came off the bench to inspire the Hornets to a thrilling victory at Goodison Park. Dennis was introduced for Senegal's Ismaila Sarr in the 64th minute, and his contribution helped Claudio Ranieri secure his first win at the club as the Hornets ended a 4-game winless run in all competitions. Everton started on a strong foot with Tom Davies putting them in the lead 3 minutes into the encounter, but Watford responded with an equalizer in the 13th minute through Joshua King. The first full 5 minutes ended 1-1 before it started raining goals in the second half. 3 minutes after the hour mark, Richarlison put the Toffees back in the lead, but Dennis's brilliance inspired Watford's fight back to grab their third Premier League win of the season. Uri Kuka put Ranieri's side level again in the 78th minute, followed by King's second goal in the game thanks to an assist from Dennis 2 minutes later. The Nigerian international continued to impress and assisted his Norwegian teammates to back his hat-trick with 4 minutes left on the clock. Dennis was later rewarded for his assist as he wrapped up maximum point for the visitors with his goal in stoppage time. The 23-year-old has now scored 3 goals in 9 league appearances this season, following his permanent switch to Club Brugge in June. Also in action were William Troost-Ekong and Alex Iwobi for Watford and Everton respectively. Troost-Ekong saw action for 90 minutes, while Iwobi was brought in the 77th minute. And that is sports news.
And away from sports, let's join our international desk for more reports.
This is international news. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says he has ordered 10 ambassadors, including those from the US and France, be declared persona non grata. It follows a statement from the envoys calling for the urgent release of activist Usman Kavala. He has been in jail for more than 4 years over protests and a coup attempt, although he has not been convicted. Persona non grata can remove diplomatic status and often results in expulsion or withdrawal of recognition of envoys. This week's statement on Kavala jointly came from the embassies from the US, Canada, France, Finland, Denmark, Germany, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, and Sweden. Addressing a crowd in Eskişehir on Saturday, Mr. Erdogan said the ambassadors cannot dare to come to the Turkish Foreign Ministry and give orders. However, what will happen now remains unclear. Erdogan said the envoys should either understand Turkey or leave, Turkish media reported. The Foreign Ministry had summoned the ambassadors on Tuesday to protest at their irresponsible statement on the Kavala case. The embassy's statement had criticized the continuing delays in Osman Kavala's trial, which casts a shadow over respect for democracy and rule of law and transparency in the Turkish judiciary system. It urges a speedy resolution and calls for Turkey to secure his urgent release. Kavala was last year acquitted of charges over nationwide protest in 2013, but almost immediately rearrested. The acquittal was overturned and new charges were added relating to the military coup attempt against Erdogan government in 2016. The United Nations has said it fears a greater human rights catastrophe in Myanmar amid reports of thousands of troops massing in the north of the Southeast Asian country, which has been in chaos since a February coup. UN Special Rapporteur on Myanmar, Tom Andrews, was representing the findings of an annual human rights report on Myanmar to the UN General Assembly on Friday, said he had received information 10,000 of troops and heavy weapons were having been moved into restive regions in the north and northwest. The findings, he said, also indicated that the military government had engaged in a probable crime against humanity and war crimes. More than 1,100 civilians have been killed in the country's bloody crackdown on dissent and more than 8,000 arrested since the coup, according to a local monitoring group. In 2017, about 740,000 Rohingya fled Myanmar's Rakhine state after security forces launched a clampdown that the UN has said may amount to genocide. Andrews urged countries to deny Myanmar's military the money, weapons, and legitimacy it desired, citing a prisoner release earlier in the week as evidence that pressure was working. Still on the international news, thousands of supporters of the banned far-right Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan TLP have departed the eastern Pakistan city of Lahore, clashing for a second straight day with police who lobbed tear gas shells into the crowd, a party spokesman and witness said. The group said on Saturday that 5 of its supporters have died in the clashes, while at least 2 police officials were also killed. Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan lost 2 people Friday night and 3 more today to police firing, the party tweeted on Saturday. TLP members began their journey on Friday with the goal of reaching the capital, Islamabad, to pressure the government to release Saad Rizvi, the party's head. Rizvi was arrested last year amid demonstrations against France over the publication of caricatures of Islam's prophet, Muhammad. Police in Lahore would not comment on the claim, but on Friday night said 2 of its officers had died. Pakistan had deployed police and paramilitary personnel to prevent the demonstrators from leaving Lahore. Authorities also suspended mobile phone service in parts of the area and blocked roads on Friday. And finally, from the international scene, the gun that actor Alec Baldwin fired on set, killing a woman, was handed to him by a director who told him it was safe, court records show. Assistant Director Dave Halls did not know the prop contained live ammunition and indicated it was unloaded by shouting, "Cold gun," the records say. Cinematographer Halina Hutchins was fatally shot in the chest in Thursday's incident on the set of the film Rust. Director Joel Souza, who was standing behind her, was wounded as well. The 48-year-old received emergency treatment for a shoulder injury and was later released from the hospital. Further details of the police investigation were released on Friday when a search warrant was filed at a court in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It noted that Baldwin's blood-stained outfit was taken as evidence along with the gun. Ammunition and other prop weapons were also taken from the set by police. The 63-year-old actor was questioned by law enforcement, but no one has been charged over the incident. Early on Friday, Baldwin, who was the star and producer of the film, said he was fully cooperating with the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office. Ms. Hutchins, 42, was from Ukraine and grew up in the Soviet military base in the Arctic Circle. She studied journalism in Kyiv and film of Los Angeles and was named a rising star by the American Cinematography magazine in 2019. She was the director of photography for the 2020 action film Arch Enemy, directed by Adam Egypt Mortimer. And that's it from the international scene.
And now to wrap things off, let's join the entertainment desk.
On entertainment news today, singer Paul Okoye has alleged that some policemen are barricading everywhere in Lagos Island at night and extorting road users. The father of three disclosed this via his Instagram after he went clubbing for the first time in over 2 years. Meanwhile, reacting to the bullying of Mercy Johnson's daughter, OAP Tolu Oniru, Demure aka Twos has said that she's always ready to fight for her children. The mother of two stated this while reacting to Nollywood actress Mercy Johnson's post in which she alleged that our 8-year-old child Purity was bullied by a teacher in a school. Let's have a quick read. And what's your take? Meanwhile, will say no to bullying. Wizkid Essence featuring Tems is unarguably the son of the summer, all thanks to Canadian superstar Justin Bieber, who jumped on the remix. Essence has moved on to break records internationally, as it has been widely accepted by audiences in different parts of the world. In an interview with the American entertainment media platform Complex, Wizkid revealed that Bieber reached out to him for the remix and has sent in a fire verse. Bieber went ahead from just sending in a verse to actually recording a short video of his part for the song. Wizkid also hinted that Essence is not the last collaboration he would do with Bieber, as they have more unreleased music together. And finally, on entertainment news, Elon Musk, the world's most renowned entrepreneur and the CEO of two of the world's largest companies, SpaceX and Tesla, is set to become the world's first trillionaire. According to analysts at Morgan Stanley, they have predicted that Musk at 50 could become the world's first trillionaire, largely thanks to his aerospace company SpaceX. One of Musk's goals for the company via SpaceX Starship is to reach Mars. The advanced launch system already has high expectations following the success of SpaceX Crew Dragon. Earlier this month, the valuation of SpaceX increased to $100.3 billion, up from $74 billion in February, according to CNBC. The valuation made SpaceX, which Musk owns about 48% of the corporation, which is the world's second biggest privately held company. Musk is currently estimated to have $242 billion net worth, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Tesla still remains his biggest asset. And that'll be all on entertainment news.
And now for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at GalaxyTV. If you have breaking news around you, you can avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. Simply share a story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live update and comment. And that's your Galaxy TV news at this time. On behalf of the production team and everyone here, thank you so much for watching. I am Kelly Egiga. Bye.